Atlanta off to the hot shooting start. Bang able to save that pass. Boozer being played by Pachulia. Boozer with a rainbow.
Yeah, Tom Thibodeau was right. I mean, Boozer's got a little bounce to his step. He looks better physically, and that's the second jump shot he's made. That's his bread and butter, and he has not made that shot yet consistently in the playoffs. If he starts making it, now the Bulls offense completely changes.
Hawks have a 1-point lead, just under 5.5 remaining in this first quarter. Smith passed up the shot. One on the 24. Teague has to fling it. Just didn't get it off. Rebounded by Dang.
It's the first bad possession we've seen from Atlanta, Marv. They're 9 for 12 from the floor. They have 10 points in the paint already. And this is a team that was 29th in the league in paint points, about 36 per game. So Chicago has not played its style defense yet to this point.
Dang knocks down a three. Luau Dang off to the good start. So the Bulls have taken a 2-point lead.
Dang just his usual consistent self during the playoffs. Every night you can pretty much count on 17, 18 points. He's not a spectacular one-on-one player, but he'll get good shots. Teague with the miss.
Dang has started out hitting on his first three. Rose trying to use the screen. A triple team Rose. Rose going left, and he's followed by the trap. Here's Dang for three. Noah reaching for that rebound and a foul. It's against Atlanta.
This was a theme in game 3, of the offensive board. Chicago had 18 of them. And Noah is a guy who's all energy and activity. And he's talked a lot about his health finally coming around. Remember, he missed 30-plus games this year with a thumb injury, with an ankle problem. And he just is now getting his offensive rhythm here in this series.
Foul on Horford. That is his second. Atlanta now over the foul limit. Bulls have been to the line 8 times already. They've hit 7 of 8. And now 2 more shots coming up for Noah. The other night in game 3, Noah did not shoot well, just 1 of 8 from the field, 2 points, but he had 15 rebounds, 5 blocked shots, which head coach Tom Thibodeau appreciated. He said, boy, he did other things for us.
Yeah, he's one of those rare guys, Marv, who can impact a game in a huge way without scoring. Reminds me a little bit of Dennis Rodman in that way. You know, in terms of the offensive rebounding, the incredible defense, the ability to guard perimeter players on switches, on pick and rolls, and just how hard he plays. He's a guy who his teammates actually love. He brings an energy and a zest to the game that's infectious.
We're told that Keith Bogans is having his right ankle taped. And the hope is that he will be able to check back in. Jamal Crawford has come on. Oh, Smith around Boozer. It counts. And the foul. Beautiful move by Josh Smith. And you know his head coach, Larry Drew, just loves when he takes it to the basket.
Yeah, he needs to do more of this because he's too quick for Carlos Boozer, and he's too quick for most power forwards in this league. When Josh Smith gets himself in trouble, it's when he's kind of settling for those outside jump shots. So you love to see him put it on the floor, use that athleticism, and get to the rim.
First foul by Boozer. First free throw for the Hawks. 3-point play for Smith, and the game is tied at 21. Marvin Williams has also checked in for Atlanta. He had been in the starting lineup, but Larry Drew making the adjustment tonight, going big with Jason Collins, the starter. Here's a rainbow. Not a good shot by Rose.
Not a good shot at all, but Atlanta playing with much more of an edge here tonight.
Smith again to the rim, and he's rejected. Good play by Dang. Now able to protect. Here comes Rose. Rose to the rim. The rebound is missed. Dang had an opportunity. Crawford is on the run. That by Noah. Crawford brings it back. Good job by Noah preventing that move by Crawford. Smith angling in. And a foul. Stay right here, says the outside official. Gary Zielinski, the foul is on Boozer. That is his second.
Marv, I'm really blown away by this crowd here tonight. They have brought the energy, and so have the Hawks. And a lot of it is Josh Smith and his aggressiveness. He doesn't get the shot to go, but you see him trying to attack the paint. He's listened to his coach, Larry Drew, but you know, this Atlanta crowd, not known around the league as, you know, one of the tougher places to play, this building anyway. But they brought the energy here tonight. It is loud in here.
Taj Gibson has come on now for Carlos Boozer. Taj has played very well. Here's Johnson for three. What a turn for Joe Johnson Friday night. Only 4 of 12, 10 points. He's opened up hitting his first 4, and he has 9 points.
He can get his shot off so easily. And Chicago playing pretty good defense on him, but Johnson, as he did in game 1, just shooting right over the top.
Shot clock to 5. Williams not going for the fake. Bang. Chased down by Pachulia. 2.5 left in the first. Hawks in control, lead by 3. Smith on a step back. Gang trying to save it, could not. And the Hawks will maintain possession. Hawks take a timeout. So a good start here for the Hawks here at home. 11 of 18 shooting, 61% from the field.
Hey, great energy. Great energy. Way to come out ready. Way to be really aggressive. Twin, good job on the aggressiveness. Keep that aggressiveness, particularly on the pick and roll. Keep attacking, guys. Keep the aggression. Keep attacking.
And Larry Drew is talking about the defensive aggressiveness against Derrick Rose on the pick and roll. And what Atlanta is trying to do tonight is, instead of just trying to contain Rose and go underneath screens as they did in the first few games, they're now trying to attack a little bit more. The bigs are helping. They're hedging harder. The guards sometimes are going over the top of that screen, so they've changed the coverage a little bit against Rose.
Tough shot attempt by Crawford. Here comes Rose. Keith Bogans is checked back, and Rose splitting through, going all the way. Omar Oshiku just checked in for the good hustle rebound. Dang hesitated, unable to hit from downtown, and here come the Hawks. Just under 2 minutes to play in this first quarter. Smith, tough pass to handle. Marvin Williams did, and that is rejected by Gibson. Last touched by Atlanta.
Well, you get an idea of the depth and the length of this Bulls front line. Even with Noah on the bench, you've got Ashik and Taj Gibson in, and still that aggressive athleticism, the length, the ability to challenge shots without fouling. That's why Chicago was the #1 defense in the league statistically this year.
Gibson showing the touch. Taj Gibson, a New York product, played his college ball at Southern Cal, and an outstanding regular season. Has played well on the play. There's Gibson with the steal, took it out of the hands of Crawford.
Oh man! Coming off that spectacular game 2, Gibson picking up where he left off.
Bulls back on top by a point. Crawford. And that is a typical Jamal Crawford shot early in the shot clock.
Yeah.
Firing one up.
Well, and because of the Kirk Heinrich injury, Marv, Crawford is having to play more point guard in this series.
Rose trying to split through. Rose gets it back, and that is deflected out. Last touch by the Hawks.
Talking about Crawford, his scoring is so critical to this team. We talked about it at the open with Johnson and Crawford needing to make shots. But without Heinrich on the floor, this team becomes much more one-dimensional. And Heinrich's the guy who gets this offense moving. Jeff Teague is going to come back into the game right now. And I think Larry Drew is thinking the same thing I'm thinking. He doesn't want this offense to get stagnant. They've shown a really good offensive balance to this point, already with 8 assists. But this team, as we know, has a tendency to get very stagnant.
Rose got the step, rejected by Williams. Here's Crawford. Jamal Crawford, the one-time Chicago Bull, taking to the rim to give the Hawks a 3-point lead.
Now that's how you have to score against Chicago. You know it's going to be tough in the half court.
Gibson That is waved off. Foul is called, and a technical foul. A foul called before the shot attempt. It is on Marvin Williams. And now a technical called on one of the Hawks.
I believe it was Pachulia, Marv. And it's a tough call because he came over from the weak side to help. And it's so loud in here, I'm not sure he heard the whistle. Here's a look. Gibson's going to get fouled right here, and then the help from Pachulia. And Rose misses the technical foul, but you know, in the NBA, the continuation rule is such that you've got to continue to play as a defender and play the whole thing out. And even if you hear the whistle, you know, you're not sure if they're going to give the guy the continuation or not. I didn't mind that play from Pachulia, especially with how loud it was in here, but Danny Crawford wasting no time calling that team.
And remember, Pachulia was ejected from Game 3 of the Orlando series and then suspended for Game 4 for the headbutt of Jason Richardson. Now the Bulls are having the difficulty at the line.
Look at the free throw disparity already. Our Bulls 8 for 12. Hawks have only been there one time. Josh Smith on that three-point play.
Derrick Rose getting a rest. C.J. Watson has come on. 20 seconds left in this first quarter, so the Hawks can play it out. Crawford, Teague, and Johnson in a three-guard set. And a foul is called. They had a foul to give. We're down to 9.7 remaining in this first quarter.
Atlanta's so good in this situation, late clock, because of the ability of Joe Johnson and Crawford to create shots out of nothing.
And here is Teague. He's turned back for Pachulia. And time runs out in this first quarter, and Pachulia being calmed down. He thought he was fouled, and Jamal Crawford over very quickly to guide him away. He had just been hit with that technical. 7 ties, 7 lean changes here at the start. It's the Hawks by 2 here in Atlanta.
They're going to come out with a lot of energy. How have they been able to get this game speeded up so far?
Well, they're playing with good pace. They're moving the ball. They've hurt us with our double teams. We got to do a better job of protecting the paint.
And offensively, they are obviously coming after Derrick much harder. You've got pressure releases if that happens. What has to happen when they double?
Well, I like our offense. We just have to hit the open man and make sure we sustain our spacing. The offense isn't the problem. We got to clean up our defense right now.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, David.
The NBA Coach of the Year, Tom Thibodeau, 4th Bulls coach to receive that honor. Johnny Kerr, Dick Motta, and Phil Jackson. And on the subject of Phil, how about that 4-game sweep by Dallas, 122-86 this afternoon. Steve, first of all, as the second quarter gets underway, Dallas has played at the highest possible level, but the Lakers apparently dispirited again, look to be confused defensively. Here's Pachulia way off, rebounded by Ashiq. Limited ball movement, perhaps too many shots early on by Kobe. He had the hot hand, the teammates not involved. You wonder was something else going on there with the Lakers. Watson passed out of 3. Gibson tipped it to Dang. Nice play. Oh, Ashiq is fouled. Hit from behind. Steve, have you ever been in that type of situation with a very good team just overwhelmed in a game of that significance?
Actually, yes. I was with the Spurs, and I think it was 2001. We played the Lakers in the conference finals and got swept. We were the #1 seed, and they beat us games 3 and 4 by about 25 points. They just kind of destroyed us, and it reminded me a lot of this series. And I think, you know, so much of the focus today has been on the Lakers because of Phil Jackson's impending retirement and the fact that they're 2-time champs. But let's talk about Dallas for a minute, because they've gotten to a point as a team in this series where they got into a zone where the ball is just moving on its own. I mean, nobody thinks about anything other than who's the open guy. Everybody's making shots. There's a rhythm and a groove. I mean, It is beautiful to watch. I am just so amazed by Dallas's play together as a unit. It's something.
Julia had nowhere to go. Shot clock is down to 5. Good job here by Gibson. Recovering on Johnson. Johnson blocked by Gibson. Here comes Dang. Williams back. Dang. Blocked by Williams.
That fast break's a little different with Dang leading it than it is with Derek Rose.
Johnson moving away from the double team. Here is Williams.
I like it, though. I like the action from Atlanta, the penetration and the kick. That's how you have to play, especially against great defenses like this one.
Gibson off a nice pass from Ashiq. Bulls now lead at 29-28. How about Jason Terry? 9 of 10 from downtown. That equals a playoff record, most three-pointers. That was held by Ray Allen, Rex Chapman, Vince Carter, and Peja Stojakovic, 6 for 6. They combined to hit 15 of 16 from three-point land.
Welcome back to Atlanta, where the Hawks have gotten off to a much better start here offensively tonight. They're moving the ball, they're playing with energy, they're pushing the pace, and they're sharing it. You see the extra pass there from Horford, Jason Collins with the finish, and this has been an issue throughout these playoffs. Even in the series victory over Orlando, the Hawks have struggled to score. You look at the numbers, they're averaging almost 10 fewer points than they did in the regular season. They're shooting down, and tonight, much better pace. Although the Bulls now, in the last couple of minutes, as Ashiq picks up the foul, are starting to clamp down a little bit defensively.
And the Bulls with only one starter on the floor in Luol Deng. Bulls have a very deep bench. Talking about Omer Ashiq. He's played well, a rookie, second-round draft pick back in 2008 by the Trailblazers, traded to Chicago. Played in his native Turkey the past 2 years, picking up Crawford on the switch. It leaves Smith wide open. And he continues to struggle with the outside shot.
In front of this home crowd, it reminds me a little bit of when Ron Artest at Staples goes up for a jumper. You hear the crowd kind of groan. They know it's not a high percentage look for Smith. He comes up with the steal there.
Smith spinning his way. Came up short. Smith on the recovery, foul.
And that's how he has to play, Marv. I mean, that's his strength, is his athleticism and his length. And when he aggressively attacks the hoop, good things happen. When he shoots the ball from the perimeter, generally it's not a good possession for the Hawks.
Foul committed by Gibson. Smith to the line. A programming reminder, set the DVR. Conan's got Anthony Hopkins, I should say Sir Anthony Hopkins. And you don't want to miss it. Conan all new tomorrow at 11:10 Central, only on TBS. Here comes Kyle Korver for Luol Deng, talking about Smith taking outside shots. Larry Drew, talking with us earlier, said that Smith is 0 for 17 from beyond 15 feet. In this playoff series, 5 for 33 from that range during the entire playoffs. Meanwhile, he shoots 60% from about 10 feet and closer. And he's trying to, he said it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that you should shoot from closer.
But even though the numbers aren't great so far tonight, 2 for 8, I like his aggressiveness. He's playing with much more energy, and he goes to the hoop and gets fouled on cue. And, you know, Marvin, it's interesting in the NBA, you can't mistake athleticism for energy. They're two totally different qualities. This guy is incredibly athletic, but he's low on energy. It's just kind of his nature. I think Joe Johnson's the same way, and that's one of the reasons Atlanta is so up and down as a team. They don't bring that energy every night. They've got a lot of athleticism, but there are nights when they just don't play with any bounce.
Josh Smith had good numbers in game 3, 17 points. 13 rebounds, 4 blocked shots. However, you see games 1 and 2, but he's had 4 blocked shots in each of the first 3 games.
Well, think of the difference between Smith and Noah. I mean, Smith is has long arms, he's athletic, he can run, but he makes nowhere near the impact that Noah does because Noah plays with so much energy.
Nice pass inside from Corver. Rebounded by Smith. Oh, up and down. Or was he fouled?
Yeah, I think Danny Crawford got Ronnie Brewer there on a bump as Smith was coming down. And Marv, Chicago really executing its offense pretty well tonight, but they're not getting shots to go. And I think that's their biggest weakness as a team. Other than Derrick Rose, they really don't have a guy who they can count on to just get a basket. Carlos Boozer has to score within the context of the offense. Same with Kyle Korver. So they can go through some dry spells themselves.
Crawford's pass, a wild one, picked off by Watson. Brewer blows the layup. Out comes Teague, putting the speed on. Here's Teague all the way from the first. The Bulls call for time.
Now, important sequence here in the second quarter. The easy layup for Brewer, and somehow he misses it. He doesn't use the glass as he should have, and that leads to this. The jet for Jeff Teague showing that speed, finishing the play, and the Hawks with a 3-point lead.
I'm so committed to the communities that we live and play in because we were once these kids. To be able to touch lives and get out there and make a difference means a lot to all of us. That means the world to kids. You know, that little small effect can last them a lifetime. I am Jamal Crawford of the Atlanta Hawks. On behalf of my teammates and the Hawks organization, enjoy the rest of the game.
Jamal, a first-round draft pick of the Chicago Bulls out of Michigan 11 years ago. Derrick Rose back on the floor along with Joakim Noah, Carlos Boozer, Luol Deng, and Kyle Korver. Now Thibodeau making some changes. Korver on a quick release will catch and shoot. Smith rebound.
Has it really been 11 years since Jamal Crawford was drafted? That's amazing.
Smith getting inside. Smith with the tip. 9 points, 6 rebounds for Smith.
And that's 18 field goal attempts in the paint by Atlanta tonight. You see the energy and the edge that they're playing with tonight after that really poor performance in Game 3.
Here is Korver. Rebound for Julia. And the Hawks have done a good job in trapping Rose. Let's go, Hawks! Nice move by Crawford. Yes! Atlanta up by 7. Trying to tie the series at 2. 8-0 run here by the Hawks. They'll play Game 5 Tuesday night at the United Center in Chicago. We'll have it on TNT starting 8 o'clock Eastern time. Boozer, and he's had the touch.
Yeah, he's finding that range. So important for Chicago because we've seen their struggles offensively. Not only tonight, but throughout these playoffs. And if Tom Thibodeau can get that consistently for Carlos Boozer, or from Carlos Boozer, the Bulls will be in much better shape offensively.
Boozer's hit 3 of 4. He has 8 points. Teague and Crawford in the backcourt. Offensive foul. That's a moving screen. So the ball back to the Bulls. Foul on Marvin Williams.
Marv, so often we talk about playoff adjustments, and usually the biggest adjustments are mental. They're not so much physical or strategic. Tonight we saw Atlanta make one adjustment, basically guarding pick and roll with Rose. They're going over the top. They're being a little more aggressive, but the big adjustment is just their attitude. I mean, they're coming out and playing with a chip on their shoulder, and it's paying off for them.
Boozer, and a whistle before the shot attempt. Foul picked up by Petrulio. That is his second. And, well, they say in the act. So Boozer will shoot 2.
Yeah, it was on the way up as Boozer went up. And it's funny how this happens. You know, Boozer gets off to a good start. He makes a few. And all of a sudden he gets a call. You know, earlier in the playoffs, he'd make strong moves to the hoop when he was struggling. And he wouldn't get the call. And it frequently works that way. When things go well for you, The positive things kind of pile up, and it looks like Boozer kind of finding his groove again.
Carlos, only a 70% free throw shooter. Al Horford returns, and Zaza Pachulia will sit down.
How about the free throw disparity? That's the reason Chicago is in this game. They're only shooting 37% from the floor, but they've made 12 out of 17 free throws. Atlanta just 3 of 5 to this point.
And the Hawks have done an excellent job defensively against Derrick Rose, who is just 1 of 5. 6.5 remaining first half. Play is blown dead. Defensive 3 is called, and Crawford will go to the line. Bulls coming off the decisive win in Game 3 Friday night here at Phillips Arena. Take the 2-1 advantage for the Bulls. Easily their best performance of the series. Coming off the tough go with the Indiana Pacers in the opening round.
Yeah.
They beat Indiana in 5.
Well, they got the great performance from Rose, obviously 44 points, but they also had a terrific effort from its bench, as Noah's going to get called for the foul holding Horford. But Chicago's bench the other night, Marv, was spectacular. They came out in the second quarter and really played well, and in fact 34 points for the game. You look, and 15 boards to go along with that. They came out and really kept the momentum going after Derrick Rose got them off to that quick start.
Bulls now over the foul limit. Al Horford, who touched on earlier, teammate and close friend with Joakim Noah, both winning 2 championships at the University of Florida. And to this point, Noah with some, as the Hawks feel, some pushing and shoving and some very physical play against Horford has held him in check. Culver coming off the screen, but he's missed his first 3 shots.
Yeah, but Chicago, when he's in the game, pretty much runs its entire offense through it.
Oh, beautiful alley-oop for Horford.
Oh, how about the play from Josh Smith? Coast to coast off the rebound, showing you his talent.
Here is Rose. Rose with the tip. Crowd wanted offensive interference. Hawks by 5.
Well, I feel like the Bulls are right where they need to be, you know, because everything's gone Atlanta's way. As Teague misses the jumper, when the crowd's in it, Hawks are playing with tremendous energy.
Here comes Rose. And you just saw the speed of Derrick Rose because the Hawks were back.
Now he's finally getting out in transition, and that's what happens if Atlanta misses a shot, and if they take a bad one. Derrick Rose almost always ends up with transition at the other end. Another 3-second defensive violation. And how about the alley-oop a moment ago? Josh Smith showing his talents with that pass to Horford. And that's why Atlanta can be so explosive when they play with an edge and with energy like they are tonight.
That's a second assist for Smith in this first half. The Hawks now lead by 4. Smith and Horford are the big men. It's a 3-guard set for Larry Drew. Punched away from Smith. Last touch by the Bulls. No violation, but the shot clock running down. Here comes Teague all the way. And the foul is called on Horford.
But how fast is Jeff Teague? Man, he shot out of a cannon. Just couldn't finish. A little bit like Ronnie Brewer's transition miss a moment ago. And you know, sometimes because of the shot blocking presence of Noah, even when he's not there, you just feel him. And I think that's what happened with Teague. He was anticipating Noah's shot block attempt, and it never came, but it bothered him just enough.
Horford picks up his 3rd. He's replaced by Pachulia, so 2 apiece on Collins and Pachulia, who just checked back in. Horford with 3, just under 5 remaining in this first half. Here's Rose. Noah. Beautiful move by Joakim Noah.
That's where he's at his best offensively, with that left hand. He'd much rather shoot that one than with his natural right hand.
Smith fires one.
You hear the crowd?
Oh, yeah.
They're all screaming no.
It's that collective groan.
Yeah, it's the Ron Artest call from Staples. It's the same thing.
Boozer trying to get it inside, and it's deflected. Last touch by Josh Smith. So the Bulls have it with 8 on the shot clock.
We'll take a look at the difference in the pick and roll defense now from Atlanta. 3 guys surrounding Derrick Rose. They're not letting him get over the pick. Much different from the way they've played in the first 3 games when they were allowing him to shoot behind the pick and the guard going underneath. But now they're really aggressively corralling him and even forcing him away from the screen like they did on that one.
Marvin Williams checks back in for Atlanta. Here's Noah again to the left hand, spinning on Josh Smith, protecting the ball. Smith not able to get to it.
And after all this energy and all this offensive fireworks we've seen from Atlanta, here we are with the game tied.
Johnson, he's played well. Big first half. 5 for 6, 12 points for Joe Johnson. And that stops an 8-1 run by Chicago. Rose over Teague, yes. And these 2 guys know each other very well. They played together in AAU basketball in 8th grade. Teague grew up in Indianapolis, Rose in Chicago. They are the same age. Teague said, you know, he was good just like this at that age. He was the only one dunking in 8th grade that I can remember. Call is against Atlanta.
3 seconds on Pachulia, who thought the shot was going to go up, so he was getting ready for an offensive rebound.
Coming up on 3 minutes to play. First half, Marv Albert with Steve Kerr, David Aldridge. We're in Atlanta. Offensive foul. The ball back to the Hawks. Foul on Boozer. That is his 3rd.
And Tom Thibodeau quickly gets Taj Gibson off the bench to replace Boozer.
Gibson has played well, 7 points in 6 minutes.
And his real value, as you know, really doesn't even come in the scoring column.
Johnson. Noah with a back tap, then chases down. Here's Dang on the run. Try to slip it to Gibson, who was able to save it.
Really good transition defense from the Hawks. That time Marvin Williams staying with Kyle Korver the entire play.
Rose not able to hit on the runner. Here comes Teague. Teague all the way. Try to adjust. Kept alive by the Hawks and knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Atlanta. Timeout with just under 2.5 to play in the first half.
The reason I play the way that I play, just everything. Just knowing that days that I don't feel like going into practice, or I'm having a hard time, think about her when she had to wake me up, go to work, and just making sure that I'm all right and making sure the family is all right. Those are hard days. My days shouldn't be hard because I love doing what I'm doing, and that's playing basketball. So you keep me going every day, and I love you, and I appreciate you being in my life.
As Luol Deng is able to knock it down, well, on Mother's Day, a fitting flashback to Derrick Rose receiving the MVP award this past Tuesday. A tearful response as he pays tribute to his mom, Brenda.
That was awesome. And, you know, it was really amazing. You see his family members there, everybody welling up. And you see the strength of that family. Derrick gives so much of the credit to his mom and his brothers who all helped raise him.
to it. Corver on the wing for 3. He's been off. Corver again from straight away. So he's missed his first 5 shots. The ball deflected out of bounds. And a foul is called. And you can see the tattoo on his hand, dedicated to his mom. Brenda raised her sons as a single mother, working mostly at the Board of Education. Took odd jobs to make ends meet, including at an ice cream store. Derek particularly remembers that job. Pachulia was fouled on the play. And the Bulls over the foul limit as Dang got called for his second.
And how great was the interview with David Aldridge before the game that was shown, where he asked Derek's mom, what do you see when you see him on the floor? She says, I can't believe how fast and how quick he is. And I couldn't help but think, I never really heard my mom say that.
Yes.
In fact, I'm pretty sure she said, I can't believe how slow he is.
Are you saying there was lack of encouragement?
Yes, but despite my mom's criticism, I was able to hang on and make it. Just kidding, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
On the subject of David Aldridge, let's go to David.
Well, we're quickly on the tattoo. Derek said that took about 40 minutes to do with the rose and the name Brenda over it. Said it hurt so much he actually had to take a Vicodin, but he has no plans on getting rid of it and enjoys it very much, wanting to pay tribute to his mom.
You know, David gives you the complete story.
Vicodin.
Smith kicks it out. Johnson for 3. What a start for Joe Johnson. 6 of 8. He has 15 points. The Hawks back by 1. Second 3 for Johnson.
And what a start from Josh Smith, too. And he has been all over the court tonight, playing with energy, playing with an edge. That was his 4th assist. He's got 7 rebounds, 9 points. And I love the catch and shoot from Johnson. We haven't really seen any of that stagnant play from the Hawks that we see throughout the season, the catch and hold, where the offense comes to a grinding halt. Everything has been penetrate, kick, and if you're open, shoot it. And it's given this Hawks offense much more pace and flow.
Marvin Williams on that foul. He leaves Damian Wilkins, who has not seen much action in the playoffs, has come on. Final minute, first half. Here's Corver on the drive. Noah kept it alive. Pachulia on it. Corver goes down. Pachulia joins him on the floor. Johnson looking to post, had a mismatch, but it's stolen. Half minute to play, first half. Rose with Johnson picked off and on a switch. Dang for 3. Smith is on it. They can hold for a last shot of this first half.
Much better pick and roll defense throughout this first half from Atlanta. The bigs so much more aggressive on their hedges tonight.
Final seconds. Wilkins missed the stuff. And that is the end of the half. Atlanta with a 47-46 advantage. The High Point men, Joe Johnson with 15. Derrick Rose started slowly, then came on. He has 13. We'll take a quick break and send you down the street for the T-Mobile halftime report with Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Chris Webber.
But they really were able to crowd the lane on Rose, made it a lot tougher on him.
Josh Smith sitting down. That was the second block of the night. Rose is wide open for 3. And it will be Atlanta ball. Brewer tried to save it, but stepped out.
Marv, is it just me, or does it feel like Atlanta should be up more than 2 points?
It's just you.
It's just me? Okay.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, they played well. They played with energy. Larry Drew, as we heard, very satisfied with the way they came out. They've done a nice job on Derrick Rose.
Moving the ball. They're not catching and holding.
Shot clock to 3. Williams rejected by Ashik. He had to shoot that one with the clock down to 1. And on the shot clock violation, the ball back to Chicago.
I really like Sheik, Marvy. He's not going to do a whole lot at the offensive end, but his defensive activity and then his rebounding. And when he does get an offensive rebound, he turns directly to find offensive players on the perimeter for open three-point shots. He knows his role, he understands it, and he plays it every night. And he gives Tom Thibodeau a great option off the bench.
Final minute, third quarter. Johnson got kicked off, and able to recover. Nice pass. Sheik, who was wide open, and Rose able to see the court very well.
That was kind of a Steve Nash play. Jump in midair and let the defense react, and then make the pass.
Crawford had it knocked away. Game is tied at 67. Wild shot attempted. Crawford's knocking the hand of Boozer aside as Boozer tried to protect Rose. About a second and a half differential between the game clock and shot clock. Game tied. Shot clock to 5. And a reach-in foul is called. Hawks had a foul to give.
Well, take a look at the read here. He jumps. He waits for the defense to respond, and then he finds a Sheik with the perfect feed. And he's just so explosive, particularly off 2 feet, that he can either score or pass over the top of the defense.
Here's Kyle Korver for Ronnie Brewer. Korver has not been able to find the range, missing on his first 6 attempts, but Tom Thibodeau wants another shooter on the floor with 7 seconds to play in the third quarter. Boozer with a head fake. Beautiful move. And Horford went for the fake. Bulls up by 2. Final seconds of the third. Good job on Crawford. Shoots from center court and goes just wide off the rim. It's one of Jamal Crawford's specialties, those end of the quarter shots. The Chicago Bulls have taken a 69-67 lead off an 8-0 run to end the third.
Two going into the fourth quarter. Larry, what's your coverage plan going to be on Derrick Rose in the fourth quarter? The same hard shows you've done for 3?
Yeah, we just have to stay aggressive on him, try to keep him out of the paint as much as we can. I think for the most part we've done a good job with it, but we just have to be better.
We've seen Josh Smith make some really great plays out here tonight, but still wants to take that jumper. How much faith and confidence do you have in him to make the right play in a game you have to have?
Well, it's a must game for us. I'm hoping that he will just make the right play. He's made some really good plays in transition, but when he attacks the basket, we're just a better ball club.
Thank you, Larry.
You got it.
All right, David, as this fourth quarter gets underway, wet spot on the floor was taken care of. Chicago ball. A Sheik remaining on the floor. Derrick Rose. Luol Deng. This is Carlos Boozer, who has played a major role moving inside on Smith, this time not able to hit. Boozer with 18 points, scoring 8 of the 18 in the third, including the 6 for the Bulls in that 8-0 run that ended up setting the pick. Crawford. Jamal Crawford has tied the game.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how long Tom Thibodeau sticks with Derrick Rose. Normally, this is when C.J. Watson comes into the game, gives Rose a breather for 3 or 4 minutes. But Rose is still on the floor. No sign of Watson. Will Thibodeau keep him out here the rest of the game?
Rose with the runner.
When you make shots like that, he probably will be out here for a while, but it's been a struggle. Just 7 for 21 for Rose tonight, and a lot of that has to do with the aggressive defense of Atlanta on the pick and roll.
Rose has 8 assists, no turnover. Oh, Crawford throwing one up. Smith with the tip.
Boy, what a play from Sheik coming over, not fouling, but on the help, that allowed Smith the offensive rebound opportunity.
Hawks and Bulls tied at 71. Game 4 of this best of 7. Bulls up 2 games to 1. Another runner by Rose. It counts, and the foul.
Well, we talked about this, Marv, in the first half. Maybe the best running jump shooter in the NBA, that floater it's such a touch, a feel shot. Tony Parker, the other guy who comes to mind. Remember, Mark Jackson was always so good with this shot, but that's really kind of Rose's signature move.
Foul on Josh Smith, and Steve, we heard the chants here of MVP Derrick Rose. Heard it Friday night during Game 3, and then the Hawk portion of the crowd looking to drown it out.
Well, this is a transient town. A lot of Chicagoans who have moved down here. Although the Bulls players were asked about it after Game 3, and they said they think it's the result of the Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan era when there were just so many Bulls fans worldwide.
2 minutes in, fourth quarter. Bulls up by 3. Taj Gibson, who just came on, defending now on Joe Johnson. Nice pass. Smith rejected. Smith on the follow.
And that's what Larry Drew was talking about. The Hawks are a better team when he attacks the rim because of that. I mean, they get second chance opportunities. They draw fouls. That's where he should be. The most effective is right around the hoop.
They double up on Rose. Rose, scoring glass, loves that shot. Able to move to his right and bank it home.
He was 6 for 20 starting this quarter, and yet the MVP with so much confidence. 3 straight hoops for Derrick Rose.
He has all 7 Bulls points here at the start of the fourth. Johnson met on a switch by Asheet. Johnson for 3. Pachulia with the rebound. Pachulia is fouled. Zaza Pachulia will go to the line. The foul's called on Brewer.
Now here's Rose's 3rd consecutive hoop to start this quarter. And once he gets his head and shoulders by the defender, and if there's no help there, it's almost automatic. He's just so adept with that leaning shot.
75% free throw shooter during the regular season, but did not get to the line frequently. A programming reminder, join the resistance from TNT and DreamWorks Television. Falling Skies series premiere June the 19th at 9/8 Central, only on TNT.
All right, C.J. Watson will check in here, but not for Derrick Rose. You know, he's going to come in and play the 2-guard spot. If you're wondering why not Kyle Korver in this situation, Korver did not get the touch going in the first half. He was 0 for 6, and I think Thibodeau is really thinking about defense against Teague and Crawford.
Rose accelerates. The ball was slapped out of his hands, and now a timeout is called. Derrick Rose has played almost the entire game, and you wonder if he will sit out at all here in the fourth quarter. 3 minutes gone by in the fourth. Bulls by 1.
Back in Atlanta, where the Bulls have a 1-point lead, and while it hasn't been the spectacular game that Derrick Rose had in Game 3, he is picking it up big time. You see 28 points, many of which coming on these floating shots going to the rim, and you see the type of problems he poses for defenses, Marvs. You know, the guards are having so much trouble staying in front of them, and then the bigs are reluctant to come over and help because of the Bulls' offensive rebounding prowess.
That's a wild shot attempted by Rose, but rebounded by Asheet. Rose played by Teague. Asheet sets the pick. Rose coming up short, and this time deflected out of bounds by Asheet.
Yeah, and then nice job from Atlanta. They've actually done a really good job on him tonight. 9 for 26 shooting. And this is, I think, the Achilles heel of this Bulls team. They just don't have enough help around him, so he's forced into taking a lot of very difficult shots.
Noah getting set to come back in. Crawford off the screen. Rebounded by Asheet. Rose pops it down. Bulls up 76-75, looking to extend to a 3-1 lead. Atlanta trying to tie the series at 2. Shot clock to 4. Rose, a hard driving move. Johnson into the paint. Nice pass. Smith. and it counts on the foul. Good look from Horford to set it up.
And Tom Thibodeau, just furious, yells out, "What are we doing?" Or something like that.
Something to that effect, yes.
And the reason he's saying that is, why did Asik leave the hoop? And that's why Noah is coming in for Asik now. He wanted Asik to stay at home in front of Smith and force Horford to score over the top of Korver. Asik responding to that mismatch with Korver, and that's what happens when you get transition defense. Frequently you end up cross-matched, and you get those mismatches, and it forces the defense's hand.
Hawks by 2. Everything good that has come from Josh Smith has taken place down low.
No surprise, really.
Korver, and he finally hits. He had missed his previous 6 shots. Kyle Korver, who has shot so well from downtown, 0 for 4 from the three-point line tonight. Coming into the game in the playoffs, 17 for 30 shooting from 3. Teague lost it. Good play by Watson. Here's Watson on the run. He's trying to draw the foul. He lost his balance, lost the ball. 5 minutes gone by here in the 4th. Smith's pass deflected and picked off. Watson for Noah. Gibson. And a foul.
They're going to get Joe Johnson on a reach, and the crowd wanted a charge, but I think Josh Smith took a flop there. Looked like Noah actually had a lay-in if he had continued towards the hoop. We'll take a look at it. If he had kept going, he had an easy land, but he thought Smith was going to challenge the shot, and I think a good no call here. Smith trying to flop his way into a foul, and smart foul from Joe Johnson reaching in.
3rd on Johnson. Taj Gibson has had another solid game. Only a 68% free throw shooter. Taj, a first-round draft pick last year, 26th overall, was a pleasant surprise, and as I mentioned earlier, has had another solid season. This year off the bench for the most part with the signing of Carlos Boozer. Here's Smith to the rim. Smith on the follow and hits the floor, landing on his back. He thought he was fouled. There's no call, but the game is tied at 80.
Josh Smith with 21 points now, Marv, and almost all of them, as you mentioned, in the paint area. In fact, Atlanta with 42 paint points tonight.
Good job by Teague closing on Korver, not allowing the shot. And they have to regroup. Shot clock down to 4. That was last touched by the Hawks, but the Bulls will have only 3 on the 24.
And Tom Thibodeau will not use a 20-second timeout here because, remember, they've used a couple of timeouts during this game. They want to save them for the end.
So Dang will throw in, has to go to the backcourt to Rose. He's going to have to fling it. He does. So the ball back to Atlanta on a 24-second violation. 6 minutes, 9 seconds to play in the 4th, with the game tied at 80. And it looks like Rose will go the rest of the way. He will play, if that's the case, almost the entire game.
Well, remember, he had the ankle injury that he tweaked in game 1. He originally suffered the injury against the Pacers in round 1. We're going to see an offensive foul here on Josh Smith with an illegal screen. But Marv, I think Derrick Rose looks fine, and I think the 4-day layoff between games 2 and 3 really helped him and his health. But here's the play from Josh Smith, and this has been the story for Atlanta. Offensive execution and Smith's aggressive play has helped them to a nice night offensively here tonight.
Okay, bottom line, we got to make plays. We got to make defensive plays. You guys that come in off the bench, you got to come in ready. That's the bottom line. You got to be ready.
We got to have floor balance. Come on, man. Dig down. Dig down.
Well, Marv, Atlanta has made plays at the defensive end tonight that have led to 14 fast break points. And for Chicago, the floor balance that Tom Thibodeau is talking about, it's been very difficult for him to get that type of spacing that he wants because of the lack of shooting tonight from the Bulls. 3 for 10 from the three-point line. They haven't really gotten Korver or Bogans or Brewer going. So Atlanta really packing the paint defensively and making things tough on Derrick Rose.
This is a game that has seen 14 ties, 16 lead changes. And on the turnover, the ball back to Atlanta. Hawks have led by as many as 8. Largest lead for the Bulls, margin of 3. Tied at 80, just under 6 minutes to play. Shot clock to 10. Smith played by Boozer. Smith got the step. Smith will go to the line. Foul committed by Boozer. Well, this is a series that will continue Tuesday night in Chicago. We'll have it for you from the United Center on TNT. That'll be game number 5. And if necessary, a game 6 Thursday back here in Atlanta. The Hawks hoping to tie it up at 2 apiece. And the Bulls looking to take it back to the Windy City in front 3-1.
And meanwhile, Josh Smith continues his strong play. You look at the numbers, 22 points. He's got 15 rebounds and 6 assists. Only 1 turnover. And if you're an Atlanta fan, you say, why can't we have this more often? He has been locked in tonight.
Hawks by 2. Rose now played by Crawford. Here's Dang for 3. Rebound, Noah. Try to go to Dang, and that's a break for the Bulls because he was anticipating that Dang was in the right spot, but it was last touched by the Hawks.
Yeah, nice play by Noah again on the offensive glass. And well, we've got an interesting matchup here. Jeff Teague and Kyle Korver guarding each other at both ends. And it's not a matchup you'd normally see either guy with. It's Rose. Gets the floater and the foul.
So Rose to the line. Johnson picks up number 4.
Well, here's that pick. Really strong pick from Noah. And then Rose, just a little hesitation move. Makes Smith commit and then respond to the roll from Noah. And once he backs up, Rose takes advantage and goes to the hoop.
Unable to complete the 3-point play. The game is tied at 82. Rose has 30 points, although he has not shot well. And as you mentioned, Korver on Teague, who has great speed. And here it is, Teague, and nowhere to go. Horford, once again, gets the friendly rim.
Well, you don't know if Larry Drew really wants to go to Teague in this situation in a playoff game, but, you know, high pick and roll with Teague and Korver guarding him may free him up.
Rose, another squeeze. Game tied at 84 as we approach 4 minutes to play in this 4th quarter. Teague passed on a 3. Here's Teague to the lane. Teague! What a play. Jeff Teague able to accelerate. Hawks by 2. Noah out to set the screen. Rose again to the rim. Here comes Smith. Teague with the handoff. Crawford with the bucket. The Hawks open up a 4-point lead, and Tom Thibodeau takes a timeout.
So much energy from this Hawks team and its crowd tonight. And they are loving what they're seeing. Teague with the lay-in and then a fast break hoop. Teague dropping it off for Horford. The Hawks trying to even out this series.
time for tonight's Marines teamwork play of the game.
Well, it's been all about Josh Smith in this game, and particularly his passing in transition has been so impressive. Look at the lob to Horford on the fast break, and then without even looking, just turns and fires over the top to Joe Johnson. Josh Smith with 6 assists. And I think it's been a terrific effort, not only from him, but from the entire team. The best they've looked offensively as a unit in this series and throughout the playoffs.
Just under 4 minutes remaining in the fourth. Here is Rose. We're seeing a lot of one-on-one from Derrick Rose the last couple of minutes, and the Hawks have responded well. They lead by 4, a 4-point margin, the biggest lead of this fourth quarter for either club. Shot clock down to 5. Down to 2. Johnson. Noah with the box out. Noah sets the screen. Oh, what a play by Teague on the steal from Rose. Drew is calling out a play.
Too early to start running the shot clock down if you're Atlanta. There's still plenty of time in this game.
Oh, Smith with a beautiful pass, another assist as he got it to Horford, and the Hawks lead by 6.
And if you're Chicago, where are you going to find the points? Rose 11 for 31. Tom Thibodeau will use another timeout.
Full and a 20, and each team with a foul to give.
Meanwhile, Atlanta coming off of a triple team out on Joe Johnson. Chicago's defense really didn't need to extend itself. That left it very vulnerable at the rim. Atlanta taking advantage. Josh Smith, 7th assist. And meanwhile for Chicago, Derrick Rose 5 of 11 in this quarter. The rest of the team 1 for 3. So Boozer had it going early, hasn't been able to get anything going in the fourth quarter. Korver with only 1 hoop. And we've talked about it. You know, this is the one question mark with Chicago. Do they have enough scoring around Derrick Rose, particularly in a high-level game like this one?
It's been a quiet night for Luol Deng, just 4 for 13 from the field. Bulls at 40% in all. Rose trying to draw the foul. There was no call. And Bennett Salvatore walking over to the scorer's table. Rose apparently an inadvertent whistle.
Tom Thibodeau can't believe it. He's saying if you blow the whistle, then it's got to be a foul. And now it's going to be a jump ball, which seems a little strange. If you're going to blow the whistle there, it seems like the Bulls should retain possession, but he's saying the whistle occurred after he let it go. But the whistle seemingly would have been for a shooting foul. This is strange.
It is. Derrick Rose would try to draw that foul. And Bennett Salvatore blowing the whistle, and it ends up jump ball control by Atlanta. It's one of those, the whistle stopped the play in the NFL.
Yeah,
on the field.
That's right.
Shot clock to 6. Nice pass again. It's Smith to Horford. A sensational game for Josh Smith. 23 points, 16 rebounds, 8 assists. Just under 2 minutes to play. Korver with a deep 3. He has struggled tonight. A minute 45 left. Hawks have opened up an 8-point lead. They're in the midst of an 8-0 run. Chicago does have a foul to give. They're going to let them play it out at this point. T gets it up and in. Oh, what a move by Jeff Teague. Hawks now lead at 94-84. The Bulls will use their final timeout.
It was so important. That was going to be 3 free throws, Marv.
A minute and 26 remaining. And Atlanta has opened up a 10-point lead.
And Marv, how about the play of Jeff Teague here in the second half? 4 for 4, 8 points, taking advantage of that matchup. The Bulls did not want Korver on Jamal Crawford, and so they slid him over to Teague. And Teague a couple of times now has gone past Korver using that speed advantage. And the Hawks have really outplayed Chicago here in the fourth quarter.
And now we're told the Bulls do have 1 timeout remaining, so that was not their final timeout. Here's Dang to the rim. 94-86 Atlanta as they seek to tie this series at 2 apiece as they head back to Chicago for a game 5. Now they spread it out. Beautiful ball movement. Crawford for 3. Yes! That may be the wrapper. 97-86 Atlanta. Again, good job defensively. Korver lost it. Crawford with the head fake puts it up for Smith.
Oh, man. See how high he was?
And here is Rose with 41 seconds to play. It's 97-88 Atlanta.
Marv, this is a blueprint for Larry Drew to show his team how good they can be when they play with energy and they move the ball and they play hard and they execute offensively.
And they came out very aggressively. They came out with effective double teams on Derrick Rose, and they played very smart. Here's Johnson with the run. So this series on its way back to Chicago, all even. Timeout is called. We'll be back to Atlanta in a moment. Down to 18 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter. And
I think it's a technical foul.
Yeah, we're being told
right?
that a technical foul has been called. It's against the Bulls for calling a timeout they did not have.
Which is exactly what we thought, but after the last timeout on the score sheet, it said the Bulls had 1 more. Right. And on the stat monitor, so Tom Thibodeau, thinking he had 1, and you and I were surprised when the stat monitor said they had 1 more. We thought he used his last one about a minute ago, which he did, but according to the stat monitor, the Bulls had 1 more. And so the officials had to sort through it. And you can't be real happy. It doesn't affect anything for Tom Thibodeau, but you can't be real happy the way that works out.
Certainly could have in a tight
That's
game,
right.
but scorer's table has been confused over the last few minutes, and time has run out. The Atlanta Hawks have defeated the Chicago Bulls with a very impressive performance and a solid finish. And they do it 100-88. This series is tied at 2. The Hawks conclude the game on a 16-4 run over the last 4 minutes. And for Josh Smith, a terrific all-around performance. 23 points, 16 rebounds, 8 assists, and he is with our David Aldridge.
Josh, you said after game 1, you were searching for your game. Did you find it tonight?
Yeah, and it feels good. I mean, what I got to do is I got to stay confident in myself, and my teammates believe in me, and I just got to play my game.
You know what Larry Drew has been saying to you all year. And I'm sure you know the stats he's shown you about shooting the ball outside versus going inside. It looked like tonight you were going inside from minute one.
Just trying to be aggressive. I'm an athletic person, and I got to show it. I got to play up to my ability and understand that they don't have a Dwight Howard down there, but they do have shot blockers. I got to go up strong, and if I get fouled, I got to knock down my free throws.
Going into Chicago, you have to play this way again if you're going to win in Chicago, because you have to win a game in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, we did it before, so it's not like it's a mission that we can't accomplish. We got to go out there and play hard for a full 48 minutes. Know that we can compete with this team, because we can. No matter what anybody says about this ball club, I believe in it, and we believe in ourselves. And we're going to be in a dogfight come Tuesday.
You were able to get the ball out of Derrick Rose's hands a lot tonight. He heated up in the third and fourth quarters. Do you all think that they have enough players to beat you if you can get the ball out of his hands?
No. D. Rose is an outstanding player. He's an MVP player. They have good talent down there, but without the ball in his hands, it slows the offense down a little bit, and we got to believe in ourselves. We got to get it out of his hands more and more, and let everybody else beat us.
Josh, thanks for seeing you in Chicago.
All right, thank you.
All right, back to you, Marv.
All right, David, the Hawks did an excellent job against Derrick Rose. 12 for 32 from the field for Rose. He did finish with 34 points, 10 assists, but the Hawks were all over the MVP, Derrick Rose. Josh Smith referring to the victory in Chicago that was in game 1 of this series. And it now comes to a game 5 with the Hawks and the Bulls all tied at 2 apiece. Thanks to our producer, Scott Cockerell, our director, Bernardo Lowe. Again, the final score, the Atlanta Hawks 100, the Chicago Bulls 88. For Steve Kerr, David Aldridge, and the rest of the crew, Marv Albert saying good night from Phillips Arena. Coming up next, it is Inside the NBA. Let's go right down the street to Ernie Johnson in our studios.